Another brick fan with a Harry Potter set. This is Harry Potter and Hermione Granger. This is set 76393, was released in June 2021, has 1,673 pieces, no minifigures, and cost about $120 when it was released. These are fully functional minifigures in the sense that the arms move. Now this little bend in the arm is permanent. I mean, it's fixed in that position, but you can move at the shoulder just like you can with a regular minifigure. And of course, you can move the legs, and they are independent of each other. So you can move those legs. You can even have one of the figures sit. Of course, Hermione's head does not move because her hair covers her shoulders, but as far as Harry goes, this head is on a turntable. It's loosely on there. You see that's just the 4x4 rounded brick there, and then the head just clips on, just holds on by a few studs. The head is connected by just a few studs, so don't, lifting this by the head can lead to disaster, as you may expect. Harry's got this really large felt robe piece, which is turned out very nicely, although it does collect a lot of dust. And then Hermione is just in the Gryffindor sweater. But let's take a closer look at each of these large brick-built minifigs. First up, here's Harry Potter. And you see he's all black, of course, with the black robes that he's wearing. This, of course, over the shoulders is felt. Zooming in here on his face, this is a printed piece and no stickers in this set. So here's a printed face, and then there's a print here on this flesh-colored slope here with his lightning scar. Of course, his hair is parted just right so you can see that. If you move down, you see the Gryffindor tie, and then this print here on one of these large panel pieces. I believe this is a 6x6 panel piece here. The striping along his waist is actually brick built, which I thought was a clever use of pieces. As I mentioned, the arms move. He's also got his wand here. So the wand here has this angled piece here so that it can clip into his hand and can be held. It has this ball on the end here. It is made up of, these are 1x6 tiles, and these are the 1x1x3 bricks, and then a stud on top. They did do a little detail inside. As you recall, the wands have some kind of element in there. In this case, a phoenix feather for Harry is inside the wand, so I thought that was kind of a cool use of that feature. And his, of course, is in this dark reddish brown, which is typically the color you see for his wands. Everything goes together pretty nicely. You set up this kind of core piece, and then you build the legs, and then the arms go on top here. As I mentioned, his head rotates really well, so he can look and you can pose him in many ways. From the back, you see more of this great big robe piece, and it just has holes here where it clips in, right where the arms clip in, to give it that kind of draped look, which I thought turned out quite nicely. Let's take a look at Hermione. Here is Hermione Granger, and the torso is pretty much the same on Hermione as it was on Harry. So you have this 6x6 printed panel here with the sweater and the tie. Her hair build is much more extensive than Harry's is, done in this brown color, or the darker reddish brown color. Once again, she has the stripe there on the base of her sweater that is brick built. The base of her legs have this couple of bricks high of gray, whereas Harry's legs were completely black. And then she also has a wand. So Hermione's wand is done in this kind of nougat color. So we have a recolored pumpkin piece here as part of her wand, which I think looks good. The problem I have with it is you're going at one stud connector there, and it is kind of loose. So this wand is quite fragile. As you see, a lot of the pieces can pop off relatively easily. Like Harry's wand, she has an internal structure here. I believe she had a unicorn hair from a unicorn tail. I would have to look that. I didn't look it up before I started this video, but that is the kind of the element inside of her wand, which again is a really nice touch on these larger wands. So it's easier to just put the base of her wand in here and then connect it up. So that's a little fragile, which is disappointing, but I don't know how they could have made that better, except maybe by putting a rod or something in the middle there. Moving around Hermione, you see this hair that goes over her shoulders. Very nicely done with lots of different slope pieces and a combination of plates and tiles. So I thought that turned out really nicely. You can see that the striping here goes all the way around, and that is another gray panel here in the back, but just no printing on it. See the base of her legs are a little different than Harry's were. As I said in the beginning, I'm really impressed at how these turned out to look just like minifigures, just in a larger scale. So very impressive. Overall, I was very surprised at how much I liked this set. I built the Harry Potter minifig first, and it just looked fantastic. I was really impressed on how they put this all together, how it made it look so much like a minifigure and act so much like a minifigure with all the same articulation points. I was genuinely impressed in how these large scale brick built minifigures turned out. As far as the value goes, if you looked at purely price per piece, it's really good with almost 1,700 pieces for $120. I mean, I can't complain about that at all. I really think that just on a piece count and the pieces that you get make this an excellent value. These are great display pieces, and I can see them releasing many more of these if they sell well. I still think if you break it down, though, really, you're paying about $60 for a large scale minifigure, which some people might go, oh, that's an awful lot of money to pay for a large scale minifigure, and I get that. But for me, as a collector and as a Harry Potter fan, I think these are great and definitely worth the price to buy this set. Hope you've enjoyed my thoughts on this Harry Potter set. I'm going to get started on my next video. And until then, happy building. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to see more of my content. I've left a link to my other Harry Potter reviews up here on the screen.